Hi guys, 'tis the season to make a Christmas tree in Blender 5. In fact, stay around because in the next video we're going to be making fairy lights, then Christmas lights, and then finally this. My Christmas present to you is that you can download all of these projects from my website for absolutely free. Stick around to the end and I'll show you how. Let's get into it. So here we are in Blender. I don't need the default cube, so I'm just going to delete it. What I do need is an image plane, so I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh Plane, like that. I'm going to hit N on the keyboard to bring this up, and I'm going to rotate it in its x-axis by 90 degrees. I'm going to click on it, and we need to take that into the edit mode. So I'm going to hit Tab on the keyboard, or remember you can go up to the top left-hand side and just do it from here. I'm going to hit 1 on my keyboard and zoom in using the middle mouse. I'm going to make sure you're in the vertex mode, this one just here. I'm going to select these 2 points here, and then I'm going to right click and hit subdivide, and it gives me a point right in the middle like that. I can then make this into a blade of grass by selecting this point here and hitting G. And what we need to do is just make a pointy piece of kind of grassy looking thing by moving these points around. So selecting them, hitting G, like so. What we can do now is actually scale it on its Z, so hit A, S and Z, just to make it a bit longer like that. Now if I take that back into the object mode like that and rotate it, what you'll notice is that it's rotating around its middle. We don't want that, we need it to rotate from the bottom. And how we do that is with this tool here. It's called a 3D cursor. So I'm going to click on that, hit 1 on the keyboard to make sure we're in the front view, go here, select that like that, and then come up to this menu here and go Object and go Set Origin to 3D cursor like that. And now if I rotate it, it rotates from that point, which is exactly what we need. Right, let's give it a texture. So we're going to object mode, back into edit mode. We're going to go into faces by clicking here. We're going to hit A. We're going to come across to the right hand side, go right down to the bottom just here, click on that. We're going to create a new material by clicking here. Let's change its color to green. Make it a dark green like that. Let's change its name. We'll call it Pine Needle. And this is the important part. Make sure you hit Assign. Let's go back into the object mode. Come up to the top here because it's still looking white. Make sure you've got textured enabled like that. What we're going to do now is create our tree. I'm just going to grab our pine needle here, select G, and I'm just going to move it off to the side like that. And that'll make total sense in a minute. I'm going to hit Shift A, and what we're looking for this time is a cone. That one there. We're going to scale it in its Z by hitting S and Z, just so it's a bit taller like that. Then what we need to do is put it on the floor, which is this red line. So we're going to hit G and then bring it up like that and just put it there. We need to edit that. So what we're going to do is make sure you've got it selected, hit Tab on your keyboard, and all we're going to do here is we're going to go 3 to the side view like that. Make sure you're on face select just here because we're actually only going to need half of this cone. Select it like that. And what you'll notice is we've only got half of it selected. And the reason for that is we need to make sure X-ray mode's on. So let's go back to 3 like that, deselect that, and let's do that again. And then hit delete faces. So why did I do that? Well, the reason is I need to apply a particle system to the cone, and it's only going to be seen from the front. Now if I apply the particle system all over the object, your computer will scream and cry and ask you what the hell you're doing. So let's go to 1 like that. So now what we need to do is select all our faces, right click and hit subdivide like that. Let's do it one more time. There we are like that. Now we need to do is go back into the object menu like that, and this is where the fun starts. Right, so before we continue, what we should do is I'm going to click on this pine here, G, just move it out of the way there. And also it's called plain in the window here. So let's rename that. So I'm going to double click on it and we'll call it pine needle. Then click back on your cone like that. Come across to the right hand side. If you go down under the spanner, there's this one here that says particles. Click on that. Then what you need to do is hit plus. And currently it's coming as an emitter. We need it to be hair. And watch what happens when I click hair. It does that. Very weird. Bad hair day. What we need to do is change the hair length. So go here and type in 0.05 like that. And if I render that, camera's not in the right place. But if I render that, you can see that the hairs are just a default hair system. And we don't want that. Let's fix the camera actually. So now if I hit render, let's do that again. You'll see we're getting these hairs, but they're the default hairs that come with the particle system and we don't want that. So to change that, what we need to do is come down to this one here that says, it's under the render just here. It says path, we need to change that to object. And then we need to go to this one here, object instance, change it to pine needle like that. Now if I hit render, nothing happens. It doesn't look very good. And the reason for that is because the default size is too small. So I'm going to change that back. I'm going to say 1 and look at that. All those hairs have come out. Let's do a render now and see what that looks like. Oh, we're starting to get our tree coming through there. The only problem is there's not very many of them. So let's change that. We're going to come to the top just here. We're going to change this from 1000. Let's try 5000. And then let's render that. Still looking pretty bold, but we can fix that. And how you do that, I'm going to go down and under children just here, I'm going to change that from none to simple. And look at that. Let's do a render of that. Very, very cool. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select the cone and I'm also going to change its material by clicking here. And then we're going to go here and we're going to say pine needle. And that'll make the background the same color as the foreground. Let's add a floor. So I'm going to the top view, Shift A, mesh plane. To scale it, I can press S and do this, or I can press S and say type in 1.5 like that and just let go, and it gives us a big floor like that. Go to the front view, our floor is really high. So I'm going to hit G and bring it below our tree like that. If I look through the camera, we get this. Let's do a render and see what that looks like. Looking very good. Let's add a light. I'm going to go to the top view and Shift A. I'm going to come down, add an area light, that one there, scale it up. If I go to the side view, the first thing you'll see is it's right over the tree. We need to move that. So hit G, just move it up like that. Hit R to rotate it so it's pointing at the tree. Go to the top view. It's not quite there yet, so we'll just move it over here and rotate it like that. Let's change its power level by clicking here, this one that looks like a light bulb, and change its power level to say 1000. We're going to hit Shift D to duplicate that light, bring it across here, and then rotate it by hitting R like that, so it's pointing at our tree like so. Now currently, if we come to the top just here, you'll see that we're in the Eevee mode. Let's change that to cycles. And I'm going to change it from CPU to GPU. And the reason I'm doing that is because it will speed up the rendering. I'm also going to change the maximum samples here to 500. I'm going to go into this one that looks like a printer and change that to 50%, just so it's creating half-size images and not killing the computer. Now if I render that, how cool is that? Right, we can make it better though, people. What we need to do now is clicking on that. We're going to go to the shader editor now. Now currently our default needle is just a basic green like that. What we really should do is bring in a Shift A. We're looking for a color ramp, this one just here. I'm going to take the color out of that and put it into our base color there and you'll notice our tree has gone white. Drag this one across like that, and then on this one, click on it, go down to the color, and then just pick a green. Do the same for the black, click on that, bring this one up here like that, and then pick another green, and it can be light. We can then add more by clicking this one here. And what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to make it white. So clicking here in the center, bring that up like that. Then I'm going to add another one. I'm going to make this dark green. And I'm going to add two more. So one like that, drag it across. Let's make this one like a reddish color. And one more, and we'll make this a dark green. Like that. Now, what I've done there is I'm basically telling the software to randomly pick these colors for the pine needles, but I do need to add one more node. So I'm going to go Shift A, and what we're looking for is an object info node, which is this one here. And then what we need to do is take the random out from here and put it into the factor like that. And when we go back to the layout and hit render, very, very cool. The only thing I don't like is I think the red's a bit too much. So what we'll do is we'll click out of that, go back into shading here, and I'll click on that red one. I'm going to change its color. Let's do a render. Very, very cool. Now we're getting some extraneous hairs coming through at the bottom here, and we can fix that quite easily by cheating a little bit. We're going to go to the one view like that. We're going to click on our floor by selecting this just here. Hit 1 and then hit G and just bring it up a little bit just to hide it like that. And we are finished, folks. One more thing before we go, guys. Click on the tree, come over to the top right hand side and change its name from cone to actual tree or Christmas tree or whatever you want. And that way, if you want to use it in another project, you can easily import it. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. In the next one, we're going to be making these fairy lights. You can download this project from my website. Just hit subscribe and then go to the link in the description. Remember to leave me a comment. I do love reading them, and I will see you in the next one.